Hope you're doing well. As the transfer window is closed, we found content a little bit scarce, so the best thing to do sometimes is say, excuse me, you lot, have you got any suggestions, any topics you wish for us to cover, any questions that can lead to about a 10-15 minute video? They've got to be 10-15 minutes long, let's be completely honest here. A few of you got in touch, and we've chosen Peter's one. Peter McLean said, our style of play and why we should change, or are we trapped in the counter style? So it's sort of two questions, but very much one big question, Gonzo. And I thought it was quite an interesting topic because, well, we are seeing change. You know, Moyes is playing three at the back recently. It's like a hybrid. Then we switched to four back in possession. And, you know, when we did our video the other day on Patreon, the Player of the Month review, and I was arguing with Jack about how I don't like the fact that I've seen 5 different formations so far. We're 6 games into the Premier League. And I can name 5 different formations we've played. I don't like that. I'm all for plan A, B, and C. And I think sometimes that's been Moyes' downfall in the past, that we don't have a complete change in formation and personnel. But I think you can always go too far a little bit. And I think there's been enough evidence of teething problems in the first few games that the players haven't quite adjusted to sort of the main formation without thinking about any new ones.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this today, Peter. Actually, thanks for that, because I think it sort of ties in with Tuchel's sacking as well, which you can't put a video up on the West Ham channel about Thomas Tuchel being sacked. But I do think it's important when you look at the state of play that Chelsea were in, bearing in mind the games before West Ham and the games after West Ham, and look how much respect we've gone and shown them. It was Dynamo Zagreb beat them, I believe. And I understand Chelsea dominated the game, but it's neither here nor there. And I couldn't tell you whether Zagreb dominated the game. It may well be. There you go. Okay, Moyes looks at that and thinks, it's Zagreb, that's what I wanted to do. Zagreb have done those tactics. But I do think it's sort of an opportunity lost. But I also think that too much gets talked about in terms of formation and shape. Because I think you can change the formation and the shape, but if you don't change the intention, then what's the bloody point? So, you know what, because you do, I'm going to use a phrase that I haven't used for quite some time, which is rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. You know, it might look a little bit different, but the same thing is going to happen. And it's all very well creating a formation where you think, okay, this is going to put players in certain positions to hurt the opposition. But if what you're going to do is still only play 2 players that have real attacking license, and I would even question that 2 have complete attacking license, doesn't really matter whether you're playing 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever, 3 in midfield, whatever the case may be, because the fact of the matter is, well, do you know what? I've seen us play 3 different formations, and each bloody one, Antonio's been stuck up top on his own. So I think the intent is really important. And I think when you look at somebody like Paqueta, and I don't want to use just a Chelsea game as a stick to beat Moyes with. Okay, there are lots of other games, and I'm sure over the next 5-10 games, Moyes has a chance to show that was a one-off. But I look at anything, you bring in this wonderful attacking midfielder, and you're basically, it's like I made the joke, send him out there, go on, do your best N'Golo Kante impression. Show us a bit of Virgil van Dijk, will you? And I just think that's not the thing to do it. What you want to do is get him and basically make him Ronaldinho, and then I'm going to change his formation, have one more attacker. You mentioned it. No Benrahma on the pitch at the same time as Paqueta. Well, that's actually what you want to see, and something I've always thought is necessary in football. That is give the opposition manager something to think about when the team sheet goes in. Because actually, the opposition manager's not thinking, oh, look, that's 4 at the back. West Ham, there's 3 at the back. West Ham are going to play differently now. No, they're going to play exactly the bloody same, which is they're not going to attack us. So actually, what do you want the team sheet in? Let's go, oh, blimey, hold on. Look at this. Look at that front 4. Is that a front 4? Is it what? I don't know. There's Antonio there. There's Scamacca there. There's Paqueta and there's Benrahma. What are West Ham doing? I don't know. And that's what you want from the opposition, because the opposition, then, has got an hour before kickoff. He's trying to say to his players, we're going to have to suss it out in the first 10 minutes. I don't know who you've got to mark, because I don't know what positions they're going to be playing in. That's what I'd like to see us do.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting what we do, because Moyes himself speaks of the transition. I think that's sort of the word at the minute, isn't it? Transition. That is what the phase West Ham are in, and it's very much the word that's going to get thrown around. And we're going to hear it again and again at press conferences in regards to David Moyes. And I think it's almost going to become a bit of a defensive word that Moyes will use. Oh, well, you struggled today. Yeah, we're in transition.
Drinking game.
So I think it should be from now on, shouldn't it? But I guess it's something that we are going to have to go through, and it's something that's going to take time. And this is why I'm actually quite sort of, it's not sympathetic, patient would be the word with David Moyes at the minute. And if we lose on Sunday against Newcastle, I think some people will be sharpening their knives a little bit. And I want to see evidence that we're doing something differently. We don't have to necessarily win the game. Arguably, short term we do need to win, but long term it's probably more important to see something that says, "Look, I've got a bit of a plan here. This is what I'm doing." And you often see clubs go through phases like that where they stick with the manager. So we can see what you're trying to do. It's not working at the minute, but we have faith in you. We have faith in what you're doing. It's going to come good. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that's where I am with David Moyes at the minute, because just to briefly interrupt this video, because it's sponsored by Spitch, the fantasy football app, and it's time for you to get it downloaded and get your team in ahead of this weekend. But instead of me just telling you about it, I'm going to show it to you. So when you've downloaded it and you've signed up, both for free, this is the screen that greets you. In the very top left, if you type Classic and then you click Free on the bottom left, you can then click Join for Free. Get your team in, get it submitted by clicking that button that says Join Free. It'll be bright green once your team is eligible. But if you have a look at the prize pool there, as you can see, it's free to enter, but there's £250 up for the winner of this weekend. It's not a season-long thing, it's a weekend thing only. So by the time the Premier League fixtures are over this coming weekend, somebody will win £250. Now, once you've done that, click Communities. That is next to the lobby on the bottom bar, and in Find Communities, type in Hammers Chat, hit search, and there you go. That's our league there. 263 of you involved already. Let's get that number up. When you click on it, it'll ask you again to put in your team. I've done mine already. I'm ready to rock and roll for the weekend, but you can submit your team and see how you get on against myself and Gonzo. That's the Spitch fantasy football app. You've got to be 18 or over to sign up, because while there is free to play games, you can win cash prizes. Link is in the description below. Get signed up, get involved, and we'll see how you get on against us this weekend. Anyway, enough of that. Back to the tactics. He's not going to be able to change it like that. But that's why I'm slightly a little bit apprehensive. The fact that I've seen about 5 different formations and tactics already. I think, well, this isn't going to help. You look at that game against Brighton, you look at Soufal trying to mark or trying to work out if he should be marking Trossard. Now, this goes against my point because we never switched formation. It was Brighton. But the point was, we were hella confused as what to do. For that 5 minutes, we were just looking around at each other. Antonio was on the left wing thinking, what am I doing? I'm not played out here in years. What am I meant to be doing? Soufal's thinking, who the hell am I meant to be marking? And stuff like that needs ironed out massively before we can start, I think, more alterations. And we are going to have to go through this transition phase, because when the season we finished 6th, or 2 years ago now, comparing it to last season when we finished 7th, last season we had more possession with less crosses. Statistically, factually, that is what happened. And I think that caused us a bit of a problem, really, because we weren't able to play counter-attacking football, as the questions sort of suggesting, are we stuck with counter-attacking football? But then this posed another one. Did we see it against Chelsea? Not really. Chelsea set up and said, counter-attack us. Go on, counter-attack us. And we didn't. We didn't really know how. There was no pace for that. I watched Chelsea's game last night against Zagreb, who we beat last season. They were counter-attacking Chelsea. Every time they got the ball, they were just going at it. Pace, direct. There was no pass, three. Around oh, no, get to the wing and just get down that line and everyone get up the pitch ASAP. Let's see what you can do kind of thing. That was counter-attacking football. I didn't see that Stamford Bridge. I didn't see us playing counter-attacking football. It was sort of a mix between, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like defensive football mixed in with possession football when we got it, and we weren't very good at keeping the ball, so we gave it back pretty quickly. I'm not even sure how to describe it. But certainly, I think we are going to have to be patient. But the problem is, in the Premier League, you don't get time. The managers don't get time these days. It's going to be difficult for him. So while we are going through transition, Moyes is going to have to yield results to sort of justify giving him time and whatever. And I guess that leads to the next question is, do you have faith that Moyes will be able to transition West Ham? Because he's transitioning as well as a manager. And this was the point I made a couple of weeks ago after the the Brighton game and that, when it was a Monday night, I remember doing the video on a Monday. And I said, Moyes is just doing what he's done in the last 2.5 years. The problem is that is the problem. What has worked for West Ham for 2.5 seasons is no longer working because teams fear us. And this is a consequence of us doing well in the 2.5 years. Yeah. Teams now look at us and think, oh, whoa, we can't go and attack West Ham. We're going to have to sit back. We're going to have to make it difficult. And I was watching a Sean Dyche masterclass video the other day about when they beat, you laugh. I like stuff like that. And he was talking about how and when Burnley beat Liverpool at Anfield. And just listening to him speak, you just think that's probably how the team see West Ham now. He's speaking about how his fullbacks have got to be a lot closer to the centre-backs compared to other teams in the league because, Salah and Mane are trying to get in between the two of them. So he's saying, my fullbacks can't be outside the 18-yard line. So you draw a line from the 18-yard line to the 18-yard line. My defenders sit in there. They don't go out. They don't go to the touchline. No point. Stay inside. And that's what teams are doing to West Ham a little bit, saying what you're going to do. And at the minute, the answer is we're not too sure. And as fans, if the question I put to you is, what are we trying to do? I think your answer would be, I'm not too sure.
No, but I know what we should be trying to do. And I think David Moyes has alluded to that for the old transition thing. He knows that. He's not unaware of what you've just suggested, that teams are playing slightly differently against us. But I think what you said about Chelsea is really true. I just think these things sometimes are quite simple. I think they get overcomplicated. You can still counterattack. But counterattack in 2 or 3 moves. Really quick. Goalkeeper, roll it out to fullback, whatever, to Fornals release to forward. Bang, there's your counterattack. If it's not working, then you do the other thing that you need to train to do. Then you're more possession based. But I think just sometimes you might conflict the two, which is they may be training so much in passing and tippy tappy. It just needs explaining. Okay, that's fine, and we will do that. I know it sounds demeaning, tippy tappy. I like it. It's fine. But on the counter, we don't do that. So basically, I'd say something like, when we counterattack, let's go really quick. 3 passes, bang, bang, bang. If we can't get behind their defence in 3 or 4 passes, they're probably going to be set. Their defence is going to be set. Then we will revert to this new stuff we've been training with. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's not stop the quick counterattack. Let's not stop the crossing. What we're going to do is, when teams are resilient, when teams are sat back, then what we will have to do is we will have to try and work something else out and be patient. That's why we bring Procressa into the team and stuff like that. That's fine. I understand it. But you're right. That's not what happened against Chelsea. Chelsea didn't sit back against us. What we had was very, very quickly an issue there where they're 3 central defenders. And I thought you saw Fofana travelling quite far forward on the right. And then you saw the other Koulibaly, is that his name? He was travelling quite far forward on the left, sort of leaving Silva there. But a lot of the time, Antonio, when that wasn't happening, Antonio was outmanned, basically. So it's times like that in the game to think, actually, most of their players are forward. That's not a team sitting back against us. So let's go and do something now. Let's go back to old West Ham and play Chelsea counter-attack, real swashbuckling, really quick, fast-paced counter-attacks. And then when we do face a Burnley, which obviously we're not good at this season, but then it's almost, 2 tactics, 2 separate tactics, but you need to be fluid, switch between them during the games.
Yeah, I agree. The difficult thing for Moyes is going to be, like you said, that word training. There's not that much time on the training pitch between now and the World Cup for West Ham. We've got a game pretty much every week now. Midweek, we've got a game because of the European football.
Sure.
And then late in November or just before the World Cup breaks up, we've got the League Cup game as well. So it's going to be difficult for us to implement the ideas. My one concern with this formation we're seeing at the minute, let's just call it 3 at the back for safety, 3 for Niles on the left, Soufal on the right, and then whatever's happening up front, because that changes. That's where the major changes come in, whether it's 2 number 10s or 2 strikers or 1 number 10, whatever. My concern is the wing backs. Like, you will not change my mind on this. When you play with wing backs, they're the most important people in your team. I think there's an emphasis on them defensively. Your full backs, when you go forward, you're pretty much wingers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Soufal's up to that at the minute. And Fornals, I'm not sure he will be. Defensively, I think he's brilliant. I think he understands the role perfectly. He knows when to get back and help. He knows when to tuck in and help out Declan Rice. Passing, he's all right at. But he's never going to be taking on the fullback or getting forward. And that concerns me a little bit, because I think that's essentially one half of your attacking options when you're going forward down the wing. But it's certainly got teething problems at the minute, Gonzo, and I think this is a more to come kind of thing. But just to summarise, do you think we're stuck in a counter-attacking system?
No, I don't. If anything, I think we're trying to do too much to be passers. I think we should retain more of that old stuff to keep them guessing, and particularly when we've just signed a 6'5" striker, Geo. I think the moment you do that, and we were after Van Aken as well. We've still got Souček there. Seems to be playing every single game. Do not chuck out the tactic of crossing the ball. I think it's a really, really bad move. I think it might have done a lot worse than actually getting some players in the box. I wouldn't be transitioning as much as they're trying to do. Basically, you can't go from Stoke to be in Barcelona. All right. So I think we should perhaps retain a touch of the Rory Delap's.
There you go. Keep a little bit of Roy Delap around is Gonzo's summary on our tactic situation. There's a little brief chat, though. Get involved in the comments below. If you've got any topic ideas, let us know, because we've got international break coming up then this month. We're going to need some topic ideas, so get involved in the comments as well. If you enjoyed this video, however, do drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo, we'll catch you tomorrow.